Hi YouTubers, today we are on our way to Indy or Indianapolis for Joseph's surgery. In the outpatient, not this parking lot. This is the Simon that they were telling us before.
Turn left at Rotary Circle, then you will arrive at your destination. Where shall I park?
Not in Simon.
Not here?
Because that's what they told us before, but that's kind of far from. We can ask for the
Head south on Riley.
705 outpatient. Yeah, we can ask that one, Mom. Yeah, we follow those cars. We are already here in the parking garage, an outpatient. So we are going to ride an elevator. You say hi, Mommy. Hi, Mommy. D. R. A. A. E. Thank God he's done with his surgery. He's so hungry. Drinking his milk. I'm so upset. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. So on Monday, my son had his surgery. And we drove from Elkhart going to Indy for almost 3 hours. And our expected arrival time was at 9:30, but we arrived there at 9 o'clock. So we basically left home around 6 o'clock in the morning. My mother-in-law was the one driving going to Indy, and when we arrived there at 9 o'clock, we parked at the outpatient parking lot. We did not park in the Simon's parking lot, where in there you have to pay $2. In the outpatient parking lot you have to pay $9. But since it's closer to the hospital, so we preferred to pay $9. But anyways, when we arrived, we had to bring our ticket with us going to the basement. But prior to that, we went to the information center, which is in the first floor, and then we went through checkpoint. They checked our bag and everything. It's a very nice and very safe place and very clean place. So after the checkpoint, we went to the basement. So when we arrived in the basement, we went to the information center, where there was a lady in there that asked me about my son's complete information and asked me about my ID, insurance, and our parking ticket. After that, I filled out some forms and consents. And while waiting, Joseph was playing. He was watching TV, running around. He was having fun. And then at 9:30, which is our expected arrival, the pre-op nurse went to the information center and asked us to come inside and put our stuff in the waiting room. So we went to the waiting room, and Joe had to have his height and weight checked. So I went with the pre-op nurse, and he, at that time, he was 26 pounds and 33 inches. So he is half of my size already. He was crying, he was scared, but the nurse was very nice to calm him down, gave him some toy, and we went back to the waiting area. And then after that, the anesthesiologist came and explained to us about the procedure, asked Joseph's about his history, my history and my husband. And then after that, he let us sign the consent. And then a few minutes after, the surgeon and his assistant came and explained to us about the surgery process and if we have some questions or concerns. And after that, he let us sign the consent. And then the first assist nurse came a few minutes after and asked us if we understood everything and if we have more questions. So that was very nice that they're very thorough and clear about what they were doing. And I did not tell them that I am a nurse, but for us, you know, first time mother and having the procedure to my son, it was scary, but I believe that they will do good, and which they did. And after the first assist nurse came, she came back with a taxi cab for Joseph with the other nurses. And it was very emotional at that time, but they did so well to distract Joseph. I put Joseph in the taxi cab, and then the other nurse was the one that distract Joseph through like blowing the bubbles, and Joseph was having so much fun. And then 5 to 10 minutes after, so they took Joseph around 10:45, and then 5 to 10 minutes after, the other nurse told me that Joseph is already asleep. They put a gas mask on him, and then after that they start doing the spinal anesthesia. So while we were waiting for Joseph, since the procedure starts at 11, and then the procedure will take for about an hour, my mother-in-law and I went outside and tried to go for a walk and distract our mind. And then we came back around 11:15 or 11:20. The doctor came and told us that Joseph is doing really great, and we should not be worried. Everything went well, and he would be back to the waiting room soon, since at that time he was still in the recovery room. So then, like a minute or two, Joseph came and he was crying and drowsy, but he did so well. I'm so proud of him, and I'm so grateful for Riley. And then after that, we stayed in the waiting room for another 20 minutes or about 30 minutes, I would say. They still monitored Joseph, and after that, the nurse gave us this instruction for discharge and asked us if we have some questions. They were so nice to us and very kind to us. So I'm so grateful that they made our stay like very comfortable, and that we should not worried. But my friends in Gliam Church, they also prayed for us. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, Gliam family. Thank you, Pastora Emma. And thank you, Mom. And so we went back home. My mother-in-law drove back again, going to Elkhart for another 3 hours. We came home almost 5 o'clock. Joseph was still sleepy, and we were told that we should be watching him from falling, because he still cannot feel his legs, and that the anesthesia will expire around 8 o'clock. So when we arrived, I brought him directly to our room. But he woke up and he wanted to be running around, so my husband was holding him, making sure he doesn't fall. And then after a few minutes, I brought him back to our room and let him sleep. I sleep with him until 8 o'clock. He woke up and just started running and be himself. No idea what's going on. But I'm grateful that things went well. We played for another 2 hours. And then after that, around 5:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock in the night, he went to sleep. And then 5:30 in the morning, he woke up again. There you go. Bye-bye. About cars. Beep beep. Gina, ang blue di gyud mo buhian no? Beep beep. Beep beep. Brum.